Welcome to Local Matters. Today we begin with Jeff Hills, the owner of Healthy Appetites Natural Foods in Plymouth, a family-owned store that specializes in healthy foods and supplements. Julie Thompson invited Jeff via Zoom to discuss some natural ways we can keep ourselves and our loved ones healthy through the pandemic. Julie?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hi, Jeff Hills. How are you?
How are you? It's great to be on with you again.
It's been so long. I'd love to have a chat with you. Let's first talk about you have a brick and mortar facility, and this must have been really tough for you. Can you talk about what has happened with your business since COVID?
You know, we've had to deal with the same things that a lot of other retailers have had to deal with. Of course, the social distancing markers on the floor so people can space themselves 6 feet apart. We've had to learn how to do curbside pickup, which is something we did not do in the past. We're shipping a lot more than we ever have. But, you know, we're dealing with a lot of the same things other people are dealing with. We were very, very busy prior to the shutdown. And we've been a little slower since, but things are ramping back up. We have hand sanitizer at the register for people who have touched the pen on the credit card machine, things like that. There's been really minor changes. We, of course, try to hand sanitize and wash our hands as much as we can. There's the whole mask thing, which is a unique challenge for people who have to wear it for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
But it's you know, I'm glad that we're an essential business. We managed to stay open the entire time.
Yeah.
So we haven't, really closed. We are kind of dealing with the double whammy in that not only are we dealing with COVID, but we had just moved our store from our location on Long Pond Road, where we had been for 20 years,
right,
to a location in Camelot Park. So, going from Long Pond Road to Raphael Road in the Camelot Park was a big move for us, even though it's right around the corner.
Sure.
So we've had to deal with a couple of things. It's been very challenging.
But you're up to it. So among the things that you sell at your store are natural foods and products that are considered natural and or organic. Can you talk about that and labeling and what you look for? Because it's kind of confusing still to a lot of people.
In regard to natural versus organic, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, organic is a specific thing that's been defined. It's now a designation that's controlled by the government, where they have set a certain set of rules as far as what you can use in regard to fertilizers and pesticides in the growing of plants, and similar things in regard to livestock. And I think we've seen our industry evolve from the designation natural, which doesn't really have a lot of meaning in regard to the products that we sell. A lot of things are referred to as natural that aren't all that natural. I think in our channel, you're going to see a lot less of that. Our sales channel,
right,
the natural retail channel. We focus a lot on the organic because it is a specific defined thing, and
sure, people
know what they're getting with organic.
And that's the point, is you want them to know what they're getting, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, I think, with the organic movement was to keep the things plopping out of the ground as close to how they came out as possible.
Right.
So, adding less things and, preserving them with less things, I think are important to people. People want to know what's in their food. They want their food to be their food.
Right. So, Jeff, people are really concerned about their health, and especially now, and boosting their immunity, as well as trying to get something to help them with their stress. So what would you suggest for supplements, or how do supplements play a big part in both boosting immunity and dealing with stress?
Well, I'll do the immunity part first. I think it would be wise for people during this upcoming COVID round 2, I think we're going to see in the fall. I think it would be smart for people to do vitamin D. Vitamin D doesn't have any direct impact on immune system, but without vitamin D, you can't make these things called antimicrobial peptides that go around and damage various bacteria and viruses, and they make your body better able to deal with them. So I think vitamin D is vital. I think probiotics are vital. The majority of your immune system is the bacteria in your gut, so it's an important thing to keep up with. Specifically for COVID, we've seen some good results with elderberry. We've talked about elderberry on PAC a bunch of different times. Yes. It's a great antiviral, and it has been shown to be specifically effective against COVID. Something that we don't see as much of as far as immunity goes is something called quercetin. Quercetin is typically used for things like allergies. It's a great antihistamine. It's something that makes you make less histamine, but it's been shown to be very, very effective for COVID. There was a study done in Switzerland where they used quercetin. They used between 500 and 1,000 milligrams. They used between 550 and 100 milligrams of zinc, which I think is very, very important. I think those things would be great to use, whether you're doing, any sort of pharmaceutical cocktail or not. I think it would be wise for people to do the zinc and to do the quercetin. Vitamin C, of course, is something else that's been shown to work on other, types of coronavirus. So I think that would be a great thing to do too. Something to keep in mind, you mentioned stress, would be there is an herb called lemon balm, which is a great anti-stress herb, and it's also an antiviral. So that would be a great thing to do because it's going to address two things during this pandemic. Other things I think people would do well with is there's an herb called holy basil. I think that's a great herb for calming. Chamomile is a great mild sedative herb that you can use with children and older people who may be using other things. So I think that there's a lot of things we can do to address stress. There's a product called GABA. GABA is an amino acid. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it kind of tells your body and your brain to stop doing things. So you stop doing things like obsessing. So I think that's a great thing for a lot of people. Just for what it's worth, vitamin D also is important for stress because you need vitamin D to produce serotonin. Right. So that is a great thing to help you feel more grounded, is a higher serotonin level. So I think that any of those things could be helpful for people.
So there's a number of supplements that can be taken for both boosting immunity and for helping you cope with your stress. Excellent. Absolutely. All right. As always, Jeff, you've been wonderful, just a bevy of information, and I'm sure we'll speak to you again. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Julie. Maybe we can do this in person next time.
That would be wonderful. Okay. Bye, Jeff. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Julie and Jeff. To learn more about Healthy Appetites, visit their website or Facebook page. Are you a fan of the popular forensics crime drama, CSI? On September 10th from 5 to 6 p.m., take a journey through the fascinating world of crime science investigation with Paul, a former forensic scientist from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory. For 36 years, Paul investigated over 500 crime scenes and specialized in toxicology, drug analysis, and serology. Now, he is using that experience to teach others in this fun interactive program brought to you by the Berkeley Cultural Foundation. To register, visit the Berkeley Public Library or Pembroke Public Library website. This program is recommended for ages 8 and up. Sharks. We've had dozens of sightings this summer off the coast of Cape Cod and even in Plymouth. But what does that mean for humans and for the sharks themselves? On September 10th, from 7 to 8 p.m., the Plymouth Public Library invites you to a virtual shark talk with John Chisholm, shark biologist from the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries. John will be discussing shark sightings, identification, and share some jaw-dropping photos of this elasmobranch fish. Email or call Library Director Jennifer Harris to register. What's the buzz on mosquitoes? Well, they're possibly the most dangerous animal in the world. Many deadly diseases are transmitted by the tiny insect, and here in Plymouth County, the rates of eastern equine encephalitis rank among the highest in the nation. On September 7th from 6 to 7 p.m., join Plymouth County entomologist Blake Dinius for a free talk on why mosquitoes bite and how to best protect ourselves. Hosted by the Wildlands Trust, visit their Facebook page to register. I grew up on the North Shore and don't remember a time in my childhood when we didn't have a tub of marshmallow fluff on hand for a quick scoop on hot chocolate or a fluffernutter sandwich. This sticky confection originated 102 years ago in Somerville, and for 15 years, the annual Marshmallow Fluff Festival has been a proud tradition there. Pandemic precautions have moved this year's festivities to a virtual platform, which means that fluff lovers from around the globe can take part. From September 12th through the 21st, celebrate this yummy, gooey treat with virtual games, music, guest appearances from Fluff's past, and more at In Fluff We Trust, sticking together through fluff. Visit flufffestival.com to join in on the fun. For a fun way to explain the need for hand washing to your little one, join Ms. Debbie from the South Shore Community Action Council on September 9th from 10:30 to 11 a.m. for the virtual program, Germs Are Not for Sharing. Using some handy household items, your child, age 3 and up, will follow along with a YouTube video of hands-on science activities that make getting rid of germs feel fun. This event is hosted by the Duxbury Free Library. Visit their website to register. On Saturday, September 12th from 6 to 8:30 p.m., bring your carload team of up to 6 people to the Kingston Collection for the biggest socially distant trivia night on the South Shore. Come early for music and food vendors and compete for prizes in this fun smartphone trivia game. Hosted by the Kingston Collection and Game Show Parties of Boston, visit the Kingston Collection Facebook page to learn more. Online dating can feel awkward, daunting, and a little scary. Impact Boston is offering a new virtual program, Intro to Safe and Sane Online Dating, on September 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. This workshop will provide tools to help you stay safe and sane while dating online, from picking the right app to use to assessing potential partners when you don't have much information. Through COVID and beyond, facilitating connections in new ways is the world we're in. To register, visit the Impact Boston Facebook page. Erika is here with an update on school reopenings.
To allow each school sufficient training and preparation for educators and staff in the 2020-2021 school year, the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has waived its mandate for a 180-day school year and structured total hours of learning. Silver Lake Regional High School resumed its opening on Wednesday, September 16th for grades K through 12, and Pembroke High School will be opening on Tuesday, September 15th for grades 1 through 12. Pembroke Kindergarten will resume on Thursday, September 17th, 2020. The last day of school is tentatively Wednesday, June 16th for grades 1 through 12. With openings coming sooner than we think, there have been several considerable constraints limiting how students can return to school in the fall. According to the superintendent of schools, Jill Prue, she states in her letter to the parents, for safety and health reasons, buses can only run at 1/3 of their capacity. Our buildings cannot accommodate all students within 6 feet of social distancing, and due to health and safety concerns, not all of our staff can return to school to serve students in person. These operational, financial, and facilities constraints lead us to recommend starting the year in our hybrid model. The hybrid model is not necessarily how we will learn all year, but is the best model to start given the factors limiting us at this time. The superintendent continues to mention that if things get better, they have a plan in place to transition eventually to their full-time in-person model. And if things take a negative turn, then they have their full remote model ready as well. If your student is participating in in-person learning and has any of the following or combination of symptoms, please stay home and take the necessary precautions. If staff or students have any of these symptoms, they must get a test for active COVID-19 infection prior to returning to school. Information regarding when it is safe to return to school after a negative test is stated in individual school guides for reopening, which can be found on their respective websites. The single most important thing to do if any of the following symptoms are present is to stay home. Our collective health relies in part on individual attention and responsibility. It is critical that parents and caregivers evaluate the health of their students daily. When in doubt, stay home. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Erika. Back to school looks a lot different this year, but we wish returning students and faculty a safe, productive, and fun school year. For this week's music presentation, we welcome Sam Schorer, bassoonist and student of South Shore Conservatory. Thank you, Sam and South Shore Conservatory. And thank you for watching this episode of Local Matters, which is a production of the local scene of PAC TV. Visit our website at pactv.org/local scene for a complete list of resources mentioned in this show. Follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook to keep updated on the ways that we celebrate our differences and unite together in our common goals. From all of us at PAC TV, have a happy and safe week. We'll see you next time.